I'm Davy, and I'm awesome! And welcome to Davy's Awesome Movies, where I recommend and review movies that I love. Alternative, B-rated, cold style flicks. This week, one of my absolute favorites growing up as a kid. Like, this was my favorite movie for a time. I watched it over and over again, and to this day, I still get entertained watching it. This movie was made in 1989, and it was released by MGM Pictures, as well as Canon Pictures, movie company that I love that can't deny it. And it was written and directed by Albert Penn. Ladies and gentlemen, one of Van Damme's best movies ever, Cyborg. The movie opens with the voice of the lead villain, Fender, talking about how the world was destroying itself, and then a plague came along and was basically now finishing the job. But now some scientists are working on a cure for this plague, and he wonders why.
I like the misery. I like this world!
Well, it's not all about you, selfish. Then we see Pearl and her escort Marshall running from some pirates. Marshall tells Pearl, run and find a slinger. The slingers kill pirates, and Marshall's gonna try and hold them off while she gets away. Yeah! Okay, I know this is one of the bad guys, but that was still really cool. After they all beat the crap out of Marshall, the guy in the middle, that's Fender, by the way. Fender tells Marshall that he wants to own the cure for himself, because it would make him a god. Marshall tells him, though, that the misery can be stopped.
I like the misery.
The world could be changed.
I like this world.
Yeah, we know. We were watching from the beginning. Are those contacts? Because they look like contacts. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure those are contacts. After Fender kills Marshall, we see Pearl running from some pirates. Yeah! That's Gibson. He's a slinger, and he's played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, the biggest martial arts star in the 80s. He was also pretty big in the early 90s, until he did Street Fighter. After he saves her from a couple of pirates, she asks him, why did you help me?
I thought it was somebody else.
Because of this, she determines that she can trust him, and tells him that she needs him to get her back to Atlanta to a group of doctors because she has information that they need for the cure.
I'm a cyborg.
She said it! Okay, I know nowadays those effects are a little cheesy, but back in the 80s they weren't that bad, especially considering that this movie only had a $500,000 budget for stuff like that. Just then, he hears something.
Stay down!
Fender assumes that he's dead and tells Pearl that he's gonna take her to Atlanta now, and she's gonna give him the cure, and if she doesn't,
I'll give you the horror show.
my wife loves horror shows. Oh, he's alive, by the way. Back to Fender, him and his men are raiding a village because they need a boat.
You think we're gonna swim all the way to Atlanta?
No, you do have other options.
I hate the water!
You hate the water, you're pirates! In reality, though, this is actually a little bit humorous because the actor playing Fender, in real life, his main career was he was a professional surfer.
Hoist anchor, mates!
That's better. Gibson encounters someone. It's not who he thought it was. It's a girl named Nady, played by Deborah Richer. As Nady is sleeping it off, Gibson is sharpening his knife and having memories of...
Don't know if there's really any difference between slingers and the pirates that killed my Paul.
Great accent.
Just getting us out of the city.
Yeah, you don't really seem like city folk. He keeps thinking about this woman and her siblings.
I like them.
Oh, that's nice.
We'll be safe here.
So he's remembering a job well done. Maybe not. Nady joins Gibson because she wants to help Pearl so she can get the cure for this plague. Gibson just wants Fender. Wait a second. Gibson, Fender, Nady, Pearl, Marshall. You named your characters after guitar companies?
Are you crazy? This is the wasteland. We can't go through here.
Well, what could go wrong? While walking, Gibson hears something, so he leaves in order to protect Nady. Good job! Now, some action! Yeah! More action! Yeah! Nady fights too! Oh, the nards! See, ladies, always go after the
Captain Winky!
yeah! After this fight scene, they make it to the beach.
Fender's boat will pass here.
Then they go skinny dipping. 'Cause why not? That night,
So what did Fender do to you?
he stole his Ibanez. She asks if they could help each other, and he says no.
I don't want to see you die.
They almost have a love scene, but he decides not to go through with it. Instead, he has a flashback. Nady's cuter, dude. Perverts! On the boat, Pearl starts having flashbacks of her operation to become a cyborg, so she could get the data needed for the cure.
Don't worry, Pearl. I'll get you to New York and back.
How'd that work out for you? After Fender's boat docks, they go looking for Fender and his men. Gibson, though, tells Nady to stay behind. She didn't listen. Gibson meets some pirates. Yeah! He's a one-man wrecking crew. But these are not the guys he came for. But there's one problem. And then he sees Haley. And just in case you didn't get the subtle hints from the background music playing as he's looking at Haley.
I'm gonna be a slinger someday.
No, you're not.
Yeah, and now she's all grown up. Gibson needs to get away. He's too outnumbered. Well, that worked. And after everybody chases him around, he actually doubles back to go get Nady and Pearl. But Pearl doesn't want to go with him because she says Fender's too strong.
Nothing can stop him in this world. Not even you.
Well, for someone carrying the information for a cure of this plague, you're not much of an optimist, now are you? Gibson runs off with everyone chasing him and goes down a manhole. But the pirates are right behind him. And this leads to one of the most badass scenes in a movie ever. Yeah! Once Gibson and Nady make it out of the sewer.
I guess I should have stayed put, huh?
Duh!
Yeah, huh? Their little breather doesn't last very long, though. So they run as fast as they can with the pirates right on their tail. When they catch up, Nady is matched up with this woman. And Gibson is matched up with this guy. Nady is able to cut off her attacker's hand. And stabs her in the torso right before she's knocked out. Nady's stumped. Gibson, though, yeah, but unfortunately for him, other pirates just keep coming. He fights them off as long as he can, but there's just too many of them. Fender decides to have some fun with a beaten up Gibson. And they also do this. Fender, that's blasphemous. Haley starts remembering.
Haley!
But then she leaves with Fender. While hanging there, Gibson starts having the same flashbacks that we saw earlier, but then finally has flashbacks of stuff we haven't seen yet. So now we find out that Fender and his men found them in their little farmhouse, suspended Gibson, a little boy, and the oldest sister in a well that was holding all of them up only by barbed wire. Haley's role in this?
If you can hold them, they'll live.
Well, obviously she couldn't. And wouldn't you know it, he's the only one that survived. And in his rage, he kicks the log he's hanging in half. And then his ropes get cut.
I told you were gonna need my help.
Okay, even as a kid, that was one thing that did bother me, though. Nady was knocked out in a swamp after she had killed one of their men, and they just left that alone. Now for the final showdown. Because when you're one against many, what you want to do is make your presence known. Gibson fights off some of Fender's men. Nady goes for Pearl. Yeah! Back to Gibson.
I kill slingers.
Oh good, it's raining. Maybe now Fender will finally clean his sunglasses. Fender beats the ever-loving crap out of Gibson until... And Nady comes to help. Now Gibson's pissed. More than he was. And finally, Gibson gets the upper hand. And he and Haley are reunited. It's a wonderful, beautiful moment. Never mind, it's not over. But Gibson won't lose this time. Is Fender finally done? Yeah, he's finally dead. So Gibson goes to check on Nady. She's dead. Gibson and Haley, though, escort Pearl back to the doctors so they can get the information inside her head for the cure of this plague. And then the two of them leave because they've still got work to do out there.
It's strange, but I feel he's the real cure for this world.
Van Damme is! Sorry. I had to do that at least once. So that is Cyborg. Like I said, one of my favorite movies growing up. For a while when I was growing up, it was my favorite movie. I drove my family nuts watching that movie over and over again. And you know what? I still find it very entertaining. I mean, it's an 80s action movie, so the acting isn't on point, but the story is. It was a very good story, very well told, and at the time, a very original story that has inspired many other movies since then. Not to mention, to me, it's amazing what they did with a budget of $500,000. Sort of. If you want to get technical, it was $2.5 million, because the backstory is that originally this movie was supposed to be a sequel to Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie starring Dolph Lundgren. But not only that, but Canon was also in works to do a live-action Spider-Man movie at the time, in '89. However, due to the financial problems from Canon and their subsequent bankruptcy that was happening around that time, they had to cut ties with both Mattel and Marvel, so they couldn't do either the Spider-Man movie or the Masters of the Universe 2, but they'd already spent $2 million on some of the sets and a lot of the costumes, so they gave the writer and director, Albert Pun, the costumes and sets they'd already had, said, you got $500,000 and this to do with what you can, we want a movie. And this is what he came out with. Which is why so many of these costumes look so futuristic. In fact, the chainmail that Fender is wearing throughout the movie is the exact same chainmail that Blade was wearing in Masters of the Universe. But even still, even if you want to say technically their budget was $2.5 million, that's still a low-budget movie. Keep in mind, The Room was made for $6 million. And to this day, the Rotten Tomatoes score is very low, but you know what? Who cares what Rotten Tomatoes thinks? I know they're trying to pass Rotten Tomatoes off as, oh, these are just people who come to our website and make ratings on the movies. No, it's movie reviewers, people. It's just lesser known movie reviewers, the kind that review movies even though I don't think they even like movies. Another interesting side note, I think, to this movie is how Van Damme, after making Bloodsport and the big success that movie was, Cannon came in and said, we want to offer you 3 movies. The 3 movies he was offered, Delta Force 2, which he turned down, American Ninja 3, which he turned down, or this. This is the one he picked, which is a good move considering with its $500,000 budget, during its time in theaters, made around $10 million. So if that's not a success, what is? So, to sum it up, that is Cyborg, an awesome movie that if you haven't seen or haven't watched in a while, I highly recommend. It is a great movie. It's very thrilling. It is action-packed. I love this movie. So that's my review of Cyborg. Awesome, awesome movie from 1989. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post the videos, and leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of Cyborg. Tell me your favorite Van Damme movie. Tell me if you don't like Van Damme movies, so I can tell you I don't give a Van Damme. Love you guys.